Okay, fine. So I once again formally welcome you all for this webinar introduction and overview of machine learning to engineers. So I'm Dr. Jeffin, and I know I'm the managing director of Research Technologies. And what we'll be discussing today, okay, we'll be talking about what is machine learning. Okay, we'll be talking about what is machine learning, and we'll discuss about why machine learning. Okay, why is machine learning used and where it is used. Then we'll talk about applications of machine learning. We'll talk about what are the types of learning. If you want to make the machine learn, what are the types of learning algorithm that we'll discuss about. Then we'll talk about if you want to implement some machine learning algorithm, we will talk about the steps in implementing the machine learning algorithm. So we'll talk about, then we'll discuss an overview of the Python library files, IDE, something about what is IDE and what is about Google Colab. We'll also discuss about that, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Okay, so beyond that, I have some interesting things for you. Let's see how it works. Okay, and hopefully I believe the session should be very interactive. Okay, I want your responses. So I think if I unmute you, there may be disturbance from the background. So I want your chat responses. Okay, very frequently I'll be asking you to chat with me. Okay, I'll be asking few questions so that it will be very interactive, and the same time you'll be able to understand what machine learning is all about. Okay, so let's start. Okay, what is machine learning? Okay, so many of you would have heard, and I know many of you have taken this time to spare this time to listen what machine learning is. So machine learning is one key topic that which people are so in the past few years, people are talking much more about machine learning. Machine learning are very good opportunities, and okay, and you have here with so prominently. So before knowing the answer, what is machine learning, I want to ask three questions to you. Okay, I want to put three questions to you. Okay, and I want you to answer in chat. Okay, my first question to you is, okay, how did you start learning from your childhood? For example, you are maybe you may be a student today, you may be a professor, you may be employed, or you may be in some position. Okay, my first question is, my question that I want to ask you is, how did you start acquiring your knowledge? Maybe today I know you may be a professor, you may be a student, you may have so many knowledge with you. Okay, but how did you start getting it now? How did you got this knowledge, and how did you start acquiring this knowledge that you possess today, that you have today? Can I have the answer from you? Any idea? Like, yeah, you can just chat with me. Okay, let's take it a bit interactive. Okay, from parents, from teachers. Fine. Can I get more reply? Can I here just two or three have answered. My question to you is, how did you start learning? Okay, maybe today you acquired so many knowledge from basics, exactly, from kindergarten, right? When you are a small kid, okay, right from the day you were born, our parents would have taught so many things through socialism. Okay, yeah, very good. Okay, I've got few answers. Okay, it's true that we got. Is it echoing? Is it echoing? I heard something. Is it echoing? Please let me know. Is it echoing? 1 minute. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Please. I have one more device with me. That's the reason I think we'll just wind up. Okay, please. Is it echoing now? Is it echoing now? Hopefully, I think no. No, sir. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for your response. Okay, fine. Okay, so my first question to you was, if I ask you the knowledge that you have today, okay, today you have acquired so many knowledge, okay, if I ask you how did you got the knowledge that you have today, definitely will say we started learning from our childhood, right? Our parents, when you are born, maybe let's take, our parents should have first initially we started learning from our parents, right? We started learning from our parents. So and then we went to school. In the school, they have taught us A is apple, A for apple. So and they show us this apple. So our mind accumulated, these things are apple, and many things that we know today is because somebody taught us. Okay. My second question to you is, okay, Do you think every knowledge that you have in your brain, okay, is because someone taught you? My second question to you is, do you think every knowledge that you possess today, okay, you may have so many knowledge with you. Do you think that every knowledge that you have today is because somebody has taught you? Can I have an answer? Can I have some response in the chat? Do you think every knowledge that you have today is because someone taught you? Okay, I want it to be a bit interactive. Definitely, tell you yes. Yes, no, okay. I want more responses. Okay, please respond so that we'll let understand something better. Okay. My question to you is: do you think every knowledge that you have today, okay, it's because somebody has taught you? Okay. Analyze, no. Fine. Okay. Do you think the answer is definitely no? Okay. For example, let me say how to respect others. Okay, how to behave ourselves. Okay, do you think somebody taught you? Right? There are many things that we learn from observation, right? How to respect others, how to behave with others, how to be polite. Okay, yeah, right? How to be humble. So there are many qualities. There are many qualities that we have in our brain. Is not only because we were taught. There are many things that we learn is because we observe from somebody. That is why I'll tell you. For example, let me take a small example. Many of your students, like maybe most of your students, and for example, when you wanted to study for specific engineering in an university, okay, imagine there are like 500 colleges, and now you want to do engineering. You always, maybe all the 500 colleges follow the same syllabus. Everything in every college, the same syllabus is taught. But sometimes we feel we want to go to the better college, or we want to prefer taking a good college in a city, provided if you have a good financial background. Why do you prefer that? The syllabus is same, what your thought is same, but if you ask why do you want to go to a top college, you say because whatever you study is uniform, but other than your studies, there are so many things that you explore, right, in your brain, right? Am I right with? So in our brain, it's not that everything that we learn by ourselves. I mean, it's not whatever the knowledge that we have in our brain is not only because of what we have acquired by ourselves. I mean, what you have learned, what not only because of what somebody has taught us, like our parents, our superiors, our teachers. It's also because we have observed, right? We have observed, we have seen others. Maybe let's take an example of public speaking, right? You want to be public, that's a skill. So if you have a skill, sometimes you would acquire the skill by seeing others, how others are doing. So and slowly you know acquire the skills. Okay, that's my second. So how many of you agree to the point that whatever knowledge we have is not only because of we are taught by somebody, it's also because of we have acquired from somebody. Okay, we have observed by seeing. We have observed by seeing. Hope you agree. My third question to you is, okay, again I want you to answer. Do you think machines can learn the same way, or machines can learn the same way that humans learn? That is, do you think machine can learn by observation? Do you think you can teach a machine, like this is apple, like in your childhood days, you would have somebody have taught you this is apple, this is orange, this is that, and somebody would have taught you, and that is in your mind. So do you think you can teach a machine? And also, do you think machines can learn by observation? Okay, you don't have to teach a machine, it can just observe you, and it can learn from you. Do you think machine can do that? How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? So I just want an yes or no from you. Do you think machine can learn by observation? No. Okay, can I get some more response? Do you think machine can learn by observation? No. Yes, I'm getting a few. Can you say examples? Can you just type some examples? No, they are tools. No. Fine. Okay, if it is yes, can somebody say an example? Okay, yeah, programming you can ask to code, but for example, I'm asking, do you think machine can learn by observation? For example, can machine, if you observe you and get information from you, and can learn your interest. It can learn everything from you. Do you think machines can do that? Okay. Huh? Yeah, you can answer. Yeah. I got some answers. Somebody wanted to talk. I don't know. Let's see in the chat. Most answer I get just no, but I am okay. I want to give you some example. Okay. 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 We are hopefully, I believe that most of you would have been familiar with Google, right? Google, you have search for products. How many of you experienced that? When you search for a product in Google, for example, let's take you have searched for mobile phone. Okay, you have searched in Google in mobile phone, or you have searched in Amazon, whatever it is, some social media platform. You have. There is somebody is there. Okay, fine. Okay, so some disturbance. Okay, fine, no problem. Yeah. So okay, okay, I'll come to the point. Fine. The question is, okay, we would have been Google, right? Hope you are all familiar with Google, and you would have searched for some product in Google. For example, you would have searched for mobile phones, or you have tried to search buy an mobile phone in your Amazon or whatever it is. How many of you have experienced that? Next time you open your browser or your Facebook something, you get your ad showing ad showing mobile phones. Once you have searched, once you have searched for your cell phones, or you have tried to search some product, and next time when you don't even search, it will show the product. You will get an ad showing the product that you have searched. How many of you experienced that? They steal our information using technology. Okay, is there any other answer? Yeah. How many of you experienced that? Right? You all have experience, right? So how come machine, how come the browser is knowing that? How come the Google is knowing that you are interested in that product? Okay, you have searched once. I believe that you have searched once. Okay, you all have searched once. Okay, how come machine is knowing that you are interested in buying that product? And it's very exclusively showing you that particular product alone to you in ad next time. How it is possible? Okay, think of it. Okay, I want to ask you one more question. There are several examples that we'll discuss by artificial. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, that is okay. So okay, I'll give next example. Okay, I'll give you more example. Hope you all would have created social media account like Facebook and everything. Okay, so in your Facebook, based on recommendation system, yeah, correct. All these recommendation systems comes in machine learning. Fine. So yeah, so this is actually called product recommendation. Yeah, this actually, if you're familiar in this thing, machine learning, so this comes in recommendation system, which comes in unsupervised algorithm. Fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, next question. Okay, I'll give one more example. Like we are in social media, right? Like maybe let's take Facebook. When you open an account, and you will get some Facebook suggestions, some friend suggestions, right? You just open your account, you'll easily get some friend suggestions saying that this is your friend. Maybe you would have known your friend in your school days, but Facebook will suggest you this could be a friend. How smart Facebook. So how does Facebook know this is your friend? How is it? How is Facebook, understanding? Okay, this could be a friend. Okay, so I just want to let you know, machines can observe. Okay, what I want to say is, if you try to search something in the machine, right? If you search something from the machine can definitely observe, right? Machine can act like as though what we are thinking, right? Okay, so how? Okay, simply, and that is simply machine learning. Okay, so if I say what is machine learning, so I think you agree to the point that you can teach a machine. Okay, you can, for example, if you teach a machine saying that this is apple, and if you ask machine what is that, okay, and machine will be able to predict the same. And also machine can learn by observation, like what you are observing. Okay, your brain can observe something, and you can keep that, and it can act accordingly. Similarly, machine can do the same. Okay, machine can observe our activities, like what you are doing. Okay, and next time when you are in that, it can give you some product recommendation. It can give you that recommendation. So machine can observe also. Okay. So simply to say, so machine learning is nothing but concerned with the design and development of algorithms that allows computers to learn. Maybe if I say appropriately, that allows machine to learn. So machine learning is nothing but defining algorithm that makes a machine learn. For example, okay, you have a machine where you have a model, you can define a model for a particular application where you can teach a machine, okay, or you can make a machine learn by observation, or you can define a machine in the way you want to some extent. Okay, so machine can learn by observation. It's a machine can also extract information automatically by computational statistical method. Okay, so it can observe from you, and it can also get the data automatically, get the exact data automatically, and you can do the observation, and it can learn. So hope I think you understand basically what machine learning. So machine learning is simply nothing but making the machine understand, or making the machine learn. Okay, making the machine learn using some algorithm. Okay, that is a very simple definition. Now my question is, why machine learning? Okay, so you must have heard machine learning everywhere. Okay, past recently, like you would have heard machine learning here and there, and most of the places you would have heard about machine learning. So why is machine learning very important, and where can you see this machine learning? Okay, and why machine learning is very important? It's very important because the major thing is these machine learning algorithms are being of great practical value, and they are providing breakthrough in various applications. 1 minute, I'll just okay. So we are all learning machine learning because these algorithms that we use, these algorithms that we use, this technique that we use in machine learning is of great practical value in such a way that they are used in so many domains. 1 minute. Sorry for interruption. Okay, so this machine learning today is used in various domains of it has been of more practical use and used in various applications where human cannot even predict things accurately. For example, like maybe there are some predictions, maybe you want to make some predictions, we may be inaccurate with our past experience and past data, but machine, if we can feed the past data, machine can extract, predict things appropriately. There are so many algorithms for it. Okay, let's see some places where machine learning is playing a prominent role. Okay, let's see some examples today where machine learning. Let's I'll just brief something. Let's take healthcare. Okay, if we talk about healthcare, how is machine learning helping healthcare in medical image diagnostics? Like in healthcare today, like you can use, if you can predict if there is cancer or not. Okay, some diagnostics. What kind of tumor is that? Is it a tumor or not? Okay, or is it some kind of classification? You can use machine learning. Then robotic surgery, right? Today so many robotic surgery are happening in healthcare, which reduces the human errors. Okay, robotic surgery, drug recommendations. I think there are research papers published in drug recommendations, but I'm not sure how far it has been of so practical so far, but there are research papers already published for drug recommendations. What about COVID-19 detection? There are so many research papers published for detection of COVID-19, right? Give your X-rays. What you will do, you will, with the help of X-ray images, so you feed the machine with some X-ray images with COVID, and you feed the machine without with X-ray images without COVID. Okay, now you train the image, and if you ask the machine to predict for a new X-ray image, it can predict more or less accurately. It comes into classification. If you can Google, you can find Israel has defined algorithms. Israel are using machine learning algorithms to define what kind of treatment does a COVID patient should have. I don't know today if you are heard the news. Okay, I don't know today. I was just heard the news in the afternoon. Our World Health Minister Vijay Bhaskar just made a statement that there should be screening. Okay, I don't know whether you hear the news. There should be screening. That is, what level of treatment does a COVID patient need? Because everybody having resources, maybe the treatment they require is very minimum, but they'll get admitted in some big hospital, so that it's affecting the opportunity for others. So with machine learning, if you can Google, and you can find the country Israel has used machine learning as one tool which helped COVID patients to define what kind of treatment they need. That is, should they get admitted in hospital? Is it enough if they're in home quarantine or such kind of? Okay, so machine learning is, if you take healthcare, machine learning is making an impact in healthcare. Let's talk about business. Okay, how is machine learning used in business? Okay, so if you take business, product recommendation, for example, take Amazon. If you're searching for a product in Amazon, next day or immediately after a few minutes or next day or something, after a few hours, you will get your mail saying that these are some product recommendation for you. You search for a product, you get a mail that these are some products, that is suggested, some suggestions for you. How's that happening? Okay, then you get tempted to see more, and you get tempted to buy the product. Then customer segmentation, right? Customer segmentation is, if you take, you run a business. Okay, let's take you run a business, and maybe your business, let's take your segregated business in different zones, like 4 different zones. Okay, using machine learning and using machine learning, you can segregate customers, which zone is performing better, so which zone is not performing, so that you can exclusive show the ad for that particular segment alone. So if you in businesses, machine learning is very helpful in the form of product recommendations, in the form of customer segmentation, and so on. Then let's take industry. Let's take manufacturing industry. Sorry. Okay, if you take an industry, machine learning is very useful as an predictive machinery. For example, any industry, okay, let's take a manufacturing industry, is subjected to wear and tear. Okay, there is a lifetime, there is a runtime, which may needs a break. Okay, based on the past accident information, in many industries, this machine learning are used for predictive maintenance. Okay, it can predict, okay, after this days, after so many days, or after so many operations running, the machine should need a break based on the past history. Okay, so machine learning is used in industry. Machine learning is used in supply chain. Then also machine learning used in education. How is machine learning is used in education? Okay, today automatic grading system. Okay, so we have automatic grading system that it asks some questions and it grades you automatically. And you have some system like course recommendation. I don't know, it's not very prominent here. Maybe there are some tools for course recommendation. For example, it asks you interest. It asks you so many. It asks you interest, and based on that, it will recommend course for you. So based on interest, this course you can choose this course. Some Google AI, you can just search. Okay, or I can help you then. Okay, then security. How is machine learning helpful in security? Today, if you see, today if you see, like in healthcare, there are so many machine learning algorithms used in like elderly care system, elderly care, and abnormal event detection, anomaly detections. There are so many purposes where machine learning is used. Let's discuss few applications. Okay, these are also applications. Let's highlight to you some few applications where machine learning are used. First, as I told you, people, social media services. If you take Facebook, machine learning tells you, right, suggest you some friends. Even if you don't share, even if you don't search for friends, machine learning is suggesting you some friends. Okay. Next one is email spam and malware filtering. Today you may get so many mails in your Gmail, right? And whenever a mail comes, your machine is more or less, I would not say it's 100%. It is able to classify under, this is primary emails, this is a promotional email. Hope you all have experienced that, right? Hope you all have experienced that. When your mail comes to you, it is gets segregating as promotional email or some into trash and some into inbox and so and so, right? So when the email comes, the machine, based on the information in the email, Gmail is able to predict and classify it appropriately. The third example is virtual personal assistants, right? I don't know, Siri. If you are using an iPhone, right, there is something called Siri, right? For example, like Alexa is for Amazon, and you also have Google personal assistants. For example, if you want to call to your friend, okay, just take your phone and say call such person, okay, call Xavier, your phone automatically, if you turn your Google Assistants on, and if you just say call maybe Savior, your call goes to that particular person. And recently I was listening to an interview from Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and he was saying that in future in this Google personal assistants, okay, today we may say that we are all very happy that we say that okay, we have come from traditional method and everything has come online, and we are so happy. Like we feel that life is very easier because we can order if you want to book a ticket, we can book online and everything. Most of things we can do it online instead of doing manually. What is their goal in their talk? What's in the picture the CEO told was, in future things are going to be like this. For example, if you want to book, if you are traveling, if you are a businessman, okay, you are a businessman, and you imagine that you want to travel to Delhi from Tamil Nadu, you want to travel to Delhi and you want to book a lodge in Delhi, okay. So basically you go to, for example, now if you want to book a lodge, maybe if you don't know anybody, you go to Google, you go to the website, you find some lodge and you book it, or you book an lodge using some app, okay, OYO or you use some app to book a lodge. What is going to be what will be the future? Just take your device, Google personal assistant, say to your Google that I need and hotel to be booked for this date for this price. Just say to Google, you don't do anything. Google will call the will find lodges in that particular locality. Google will try to book a lodge and will just send you a ticket. That's what they are planning. So in future, maybe next generation people, they don't even want to go search and book a ticket. It could be like, there's high possibility. It could be like, you don't have to do anything. Just say to Google book a ticket for me in this flight. It automatically interacts with that particular third party. It calls like Google Chat Assistant service. It does that and it tickets a book for you and just give you the tickets, or it will say no ticket is available. That is the advancement that we can expect in future or the next generation. Then video games, right? Long back, if you want to play games or if you want to do something, right? You need a partner. Now, right? If you're so bored, you don't need a partner at all. You take your phone, you play chess, right? So your machine is so smart, intelligent, can make the right move like humans, right? It can make the right move, like whatever you want. If you want to make a move, machines can move by itself. So it's so smart that it can move by itself. Next one is self-driven car. I think you would have come to know Google. Google has tried self-driven car, and it is tried practically, but there are some failures. Yeah, it's not 100% successful. It has crashed with people. Not everything, but sometimes there are some failures. And also Tesla. There's so many companies that have tried self-driven car, but more prominent are Google and Tesla Autopilot. These are some self-driven cars, in the market. For example, just can you wonder, there's a road, and maybe if you have to turn right, maybe to the degree of example, the curve is like 4% of curve, maybe 4 degree. The curve percent is 4. The car is able to, the steering is able to just turn 1% exactly. Maybe if it has to take a right of 35 degree, the car judges the road exactly and it turns. Okay, we'll see how this is happening. All those things comes under reinforcement learning. Okay, so the car is able to, in self-driven car, it is able to take the road. Okay, no one would have thought this is the road. So this second you have turn right, turn left. No. It is able to dynamically see the environment, and based on the environment, it is able to see if there's any obstacle or not, and it is able to make a move accurately and make the right move. Okay, so that is the smartness of machine today. So it is so smart in a sense you don't even need a driver to travel. You sit in the car, it sees the road, it sees the environment, and it can proceed accordingly. Then online customer support. And if you see in many websites today, right? Maybe you take some prominent big websites. There'll be like chatbot. When you open a website, they'll ask, "How can I help you?" And you will say, "I want this." You'll get some response. So to some extent, whatever questions you are asking, it will give a very accurate response. Do you think in the backend it is human? Oh, not at all. Okay, chatbot. Your customer support has become out chatbots. Okay, based on your reply, machine is able to identify your question our machine is able to identify your need, and it is able to exactly give what you want, right? So life has become very, very easier. And finally, if you can't find the answer, they'll say call us, right? So all your basic problem are getting solved in the screening itself in machine learning. So beyond that, if you want to help, they'll say call to this number. So today in online support, in customer support today are mainly with machine learning. As I tell, product recommendations. So product recommendation, I think I told you the example, right? Like if you search for a product in Google, and you will see the ad for similar product recommendation systems. So it is helpful in businesses and many other things. So these are some wide applications that machine learning is really used. Then we'll see type of machine learning. Okay. So as I told you, so we have seen that machine learning is used in many spaces. Okay. As I told you, machine learning is used in so many sectors and in different ways. Okay, so and also I told machine learning is nothing but defining an algorithm, or defining an algorithm in such a machine can act, or defining an algorithm in which machine can, defining an algorithm in which machine can act, or machine can do something. Okay, so that is actually machine learning. Oh, yeah, that is actually machine learning. So defining some algorithm in such a way that model or machine can work. That is actually machine learning. So what is algorithm? Okay, when I say algorithm, what are the different types of algorithm? There are many machine learning algorithms in primary. Primarily, most of algorithms are classified under three different things. One is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Okay, if you take most of the algorithms are classified under three categories. Okay, supervised learning, okay, algorithms, unsupervised learning algorithms, and reinforcement algorithms. Okay, how many of you are clear with what I have taken so far? So before I could go next, I just want to ask you a question. How many of you are clear with what I have taken so far? Can you give a chat? Can you say yes or no? How many of you are clear with what I have taken so far? Fine. I'll give me water. Okay. Thank you. Your response really motivates me. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, your response does really motivates me. Thank you. Fine. Okay. I just want you to take a small example. Okay. Before I go say what is supervised learning. Okay. What is supervised learning? Okay. Hope you can see me. You can watch me. Okay. What is that I have in my hand? Oh, okay. Let me show this. What is that I have? What is that I have in my hand?
Your video is off.
Video is off. Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Okay, I'll just stop sharing. Pause sharing. Okay. Okay. What is it I have? What is it I have in my hand? Can you chat? What is it I have in my hand? Pen. Pen, right? Why do you say it's a pen? Who told you it's a pen? How do you know it's a pen? It's because somebody right from our childhood had told you this is a pen. Okay, this is a pen. This is a pen. Somebody has told you. Somebody have given you a labeled information. Okay, they have labeled. Somebody has, in general, it was labeled this is to be a pen, and somebody has taught you to a brain, right? Somebody has taught you that this is a pen to your brain with saying that this is pen, so that your brain was able to understand. Okay, by saying that yes, this is pen. Now I'll show you something different. Okay, so this one somebody has taught you saying that it's a pen. Now what is this? What is this? What is this? Is it a pen? Is it a pen? Yes, right. How do you say that? Because though it is not the same pen, okay, you see the attribute. It has a cap, it has a name, it has a mean, it has an opening. So somebody has taught you this is a pen, right? You are taught saying this is a pen, and then you are asked what is this. Your brain is also able to predict properly, saying okay, this is also a pen, right? Somebody has given label. So supervised learning is supervised learning. Supervised learning is nothing but giving the labeled information to the machine. Okay. So somebody is going to say to your machine, hey, this is what. Right from our childhood, we have learned so many things by using supervised learning. Okay, we have told this is pen, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is apple. By seeing and you have thought, and next time you see something like apple, you can predict, yeah, this is apple, right? Though people haven't show you all the different varieties of pen, if people can show you like 4 or 5 varieties, like if people can show you like 4 or 5 varieties of pen, and ask you like even some different variety, you can easily understand, and you can say yes, this is pen, because our brain is able to understand. Same thing, there are algorithms that you can say make the same way machines can do. Teach to a machine saying this is apple and apple. Next time you give an input to the machine and ask what is this, machine can easily say it is an apple. Okay, that is supervised. So we are supervising the machine with giving some information. You can see a slide. Okay, this is a model. Model is nothing but algorithm. Okay, these are nothing but algorithms. Okay, I'm defining some algorithm, and I'm saying to the algorithm, and I'm giving some input to the algorithm saying that these are apples. Okay, I'm feeding the algorithm with apple, and now I'm giving some input to the apple. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm giving apple's input to the machine. I'm asking. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have stopped the screen, right? Sorry. Fine. I think now the screen is visible, right? So okay, screen is visible. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. Okay. So let's see the screen now in the presentation. Okay. Let's say, okay, this is my model. Okay, this is my model. Model is nothing but some kind of algorithm. Okay, some kind of model. Okay, and I'm training the model saying these are apples. These are apples. Okay. Finally, I give some data to the model, and I'm asking the machine, what is this? Machine is easily able to say this is apple. Okay, how it is used in real time? Let's take the example of, okay, and also let's take orange. One more example. You feed the machine with some orange. Okay, you say the machine, show that, feed the machine, say it is orange, you supervise it. You label the information to the machine with some details, and you ask the machine what is it. Okay, it easily say it is an apple, or it's based on the information you have labeled, it will answer you, it will predict correctly what it is. It used in real time? Yes. So many classification and prediction algorithm are based on supervised learning. Or so much of your, most of your supervised learning are examples of, are used in application of classification and prediction. For example, let's take this COVID-19 classification. If you Google, let's take this, or let's take in for some medical purpose. You take the X-ray images. You say to the machine, hey machine, these are some data for patients with COVID. These are some X-ray images of patients with COVID. You train the model, so you train the machine with so many data, and from other end, you train a machine saying these are some examples with these are some examples of X-ray image without COVID patient. You train the machine with so many models, and then you give an X-ray image to the machine and ask, hey machine, what is this? Is it a patient with COVID or without COVID? Machine will take the data that you give, and kindly based on some algorithm, so like SPM, some machine will use some classification algorithm. Machine can find the similarity, and machine can guess, predict, saying that this is COVID or not. Okay, there are so many research published on this. Let's take another example: salary prediction. For example, in a company, there are, okay, for this, for so much of experience, so much is the salary. Imagine you want to join the same company. How much salary can you expect? Not an issue. Just give your experience and give your position. Okay, machine will be able to predict you can expect a salary of this person in the company. Okay, so supervised algorithm is nothing but you teach the algorithm with some defined label, saying that this is what. So we are all also a part of supervised learning machines, because because so many things were labeled in universe, and our brain is taught, and so that we are able to replicate it. That's why when I ask this is a pen, and you all said this is a pen, right? Okay. Another example is classic mail, right? When a mail comes to you, it can from the text of the mail, it is able to segregate, whether this is a spam or not, right? Most of I'm not saying 100% correct. most of the time should correctly segregate whether should it be the spam or should it come to your inbox. Okay. Next, regression. So this predictions actually comes under regression algorithms. For example, okay, maybe the years of experience. Okay, there are so many types of regressions, linear and non-linear. Okay, so today my motto here is just to make you understand what machine learning is. So I'll just these regressions are examples of predictions. Okay, if you want to predict something, you go for regression algorithm. For example, salary predictions and etc. Hope you understand what is supervised learning. Okay, how many of you understand what is how many of you are clear what supervised learning is? Can I get a chat? If you do you have any doubts? Are you clear with supervised learning? Hope you are clear, right? Hope you are clear. Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay. Now what I'll do? I'll stop sharing. Now I'll go for unsupervised learning. Okay. Stop. Okay. I'll pause the sharing. Hope you can see me. Now I'll teach you what is unsupervised learning. Okay. Imagine a situation that. Okay. What should I have in my hand? Okay, fine. Hope you can see me in the screen. Okay. So imagine a situation that you don't know, like I have something, I have some object in my hand that you are not aware of. Okay. Imagine that there are 4 different things. Okay. I have I have something, I have actually it's a pen drive. Okay. I have a small device and I have a pen, something like this. Imagine that I have 4 different things in my hand and you don't know what it is. Okay. You haven't seen this before. You don't know what is it at all. Some new object or new item that you're seeing it right now. Imagine your brain does not know. Your brain does not know anything about this. Okay. And if I ask you, classify this or group this based on similarity, will you be able to do it? Understand my question? Imagine that you don't know what is that in my hand. Okay. This is I have some object with me which you haven't seen. Okay. I have this, I have this, I have this. Okay. I have something in my hand. And my question and imagine that you don't know any of these things. And if I ask you, just classify or group into 2 different groups based on similarity, will you be able to do it? Will you be able to do it? Yes or no? But imagine that you don't know anything. Okay, you don't know anything about it, right? You don't know anything about this subject. But even though if you are not pre-trained, even if you are not trained, by seeing this, you can use the classify because you can say, okay, these are something large in size and so sharp. Okay, and I can classify these 2 as one. And these are something so small and look same in color, so small in size, I can classify these as one. Right? So though if you are not aware of, okay, I'm getting some chats. Yes, right? Yes. So okay, though you are not aware of this, though if you say yes, you'll be able to classify correctly. Very good. Though if you are unaware of this product before, if I give you some multiple of products and if I ask you to classify, group it or cluster it, though if you haven't seen this product before, if I ask you to group it or cluster it, your brain will be able to do it, right? No one has taught you this before. No one has taught you saying this is pen or this is something. By instantly you see something in your hand, and by seeing some features, some attributes, okay, by seeing a size or some attributes, your mind is able to classify it, right? This is unsupervised learning. Irrespective if you think if you know this label or not, okay, you would have not heard about that object before anywhere in lifetime, but instantly if you are asked to do, yes, you'll be able to do that. This is an example of unsupervised algorithm. Okay, these are some this is actually unsupervised algorithms. Let's share the screen with you. Okay, unsupervised algorithm are nothing but, for example, here I have a small example. Okay, I have a small example. I'll show you the example. Okay, so I have a machine. Okay, I'm just feeding the fruits. Okay, I have some input data. Okay, I have some fruits as input. I'm just feeding the machine with some inputs, but the machine does not know what it is. Okay, I'm just feeding the machines with some data. Okay, and I'm asking the machine to group it. Okay, machine can do it easily, right? I'm feeding some apple or some 3 different kinds of fruit to the machine, and even though the machine having heard about the product before, it can group into some similarity. Okay, it can think, okay, apple is red in color, so let me group it into some first into some group. Some other object is red in, I mean, fruit is yellow in color, so let me group into some other category. So by giving the input, though it is not pre-trained, okay, though you don't have to retrain a machine, by feeding the input, it can cluster things. There are so many clustering algorithms. K means clustering, so many clustering. Okay, like one example is K means clustering. Okay, there are so many algorithms in machine learning that in such a way that without, though even though you don't have any good information about that particular object, if you feed some data instantly, it can cluster things. The real-time example is customer segmentation. You have large amount of data, you have thousands of data which you do not know about the customer before. Okay, but if I asked the machine to classify this large amount of customers based on some category, some attributes, which kind of customers are coming regularly, which kind of customers are not coming, which customers are buying more product, less product, what kind of product. If you ask the machine, feed the data, if you ask the machine to cluster things, okay, cluster me with customers that are buying more products, cluster me with things that are customers that are buying less product, cluster me with things customers that are buying buying for more amount or more region. Machine will be able to automatically, so that you can target audience based on the customer's interest and something. Okay, this is an example of unsupervised learning. Though there is no prior information, you are feeding data instantly. There is no label information, right? There is no label information. You are giving the data instantly. Machine is able to classify it. Okay. Another example. Believe that there are some data. Let's say cricket. Okay. Imagine that you have some data of some players. Their runs they scored, and and the wickets they have taken. So from the data, you are just plotting, okay, plotting the runs and wickets. So from this, I'm asking, which are the group of players who are batsmen and which are the players who are bowlers? You can easily let me know. People who have players who have more runs, I can cluster them as batsmen, and players who have got more wickets, I can say them as bowlers, for example. So from the data, I can easily cluster. Okay, these are batsmen, these are bowlers. So I don't want any prior information about the data, right? Without any prior information, if I have some Excel data about the players, I can feed the data, I can group them. Okay, these players belong to some category. Maybe we call them batsmen or whatever it is. These are some group of people, where we call as bowlers, where they have taken so many wickets, where we can classify as bowlers. So all those things are the example of unsupervised learning. No prior information, you instantly give the data, you have machine learning algorithms that can take the data and understand what it is. Okay, hope you are clear, sir, right? Hope you are clear. My next one is, okay, this is the same thing. I'm just showing once again the difference in supervised and unsupervised. So basically, the difference in supervised and unsupervised is, as I told you, in supervised, you are going to define a model, define an algorithm in such a way that you teach a model saying that this is an apple, and you predict. Okay, you ask to a machine what is this, machine can do a prediction. Okay, based on what you have given to what you have labeled it. And unsupervised, you don't have to feed the machine with initial data, though it has no any prior informations. By giving a large amount of data, and if you ask to classify it, machine will be able to do that. Okay. Now the third one is reinforcement learning. Okay, this is quite a little complex. Okay, compared to easy, compared to the other algorithms. Okay, so what is reinforcement learning? Okay, let me take a small example to illustrate. Okay, let me take a small example for you to illustrate. So before that, what you should understand is, you should know three different things. Okay, one is environment. Okay, one is environment, one is agent, one is action. Okay, one is environment, one is agent and action. Okay, let me give you a small example. Okay, you got selected in a company. Okay, you got selected in a company, and with some, okay, with your knowledge, you got selected. Now you want to join a company. You want to join a company, and you know, and when you try to join a company, you want to please your people, right? You want to please your superiors. So if you want to definitely, if you want to survey in the, if you want to survey in that company, you definitely want to please your superiors, right? Or you want to act according to your superiors. You have to behave in such a way that your behavior is accepted in the company. Okay, your behavior is accepted in the company, so that you can sustain the company. Okay, now you have joined a company. Okay, now you are the agent. Okay, you are the, imagine. Okay, you are the agent. Okay, now the environment is your office. Environment is your office. Your action is your day-to-day activity, your feedback. Okay, so whenever you perform, okay, how do you know that you are performing well? Whenever you are doing some activity, imagine that you are, there is somebody, there's a manager who gives you some feedback. Okay, there's a manager who give you some feedbacks. Whenever you perform some action, you get some feedback from your manager, and if your manager reward you, you think, okay, that you have taken a right action. And if your manager punish you, you say your action is wrong. If this continues, okay, this is keeping continuing, and after end of like few weeks or months, you will be able to easily understand, okay, fine, these are the things my manager likes, these are the things that are accepted in the company in this situation. So this is, if this is a situation, this is how I should behave, so that I am accepted. That is typically reinforcement learning. Now there are three different things: agent, environment, and feedback. Okay, very complex to understand. I just want to make it easy for you. Now the agent is you. Okay, you as a new employee. Your environment is the office culture. Okay, maybe your including manager. Now the action. Okay, for each action. Okay, each step that you do in a company, there's a feedback from your manager. Okay, you may be either rewarded or you may be punished. So if you're rewarded, you'll be able to understand in this environment, this is how I should live. Okay, if this is the environment, this is how I should. Or most of your online games, and I told that the real-time application for reinforcement learning is your online games, and also this your self-driven car. I told you automatic car. Okay, self-driven car. The examples of reinforcement learning. It has to take decision in that particular environment. Let's take another simple example to explain. Imagine, let's take our own home. Okay, we meet a lot of people. Do you think we behave same in a sense? Do you think the way you behave with your parents is the same way you behave with your children, or is the same way we behave with your teachers? No, right? Based on environment, based on their, we change. We don't behave based on their position or who they are. We change ourselves, right? If it's a father, if it's a mother, the respect and everything we define, we change, right? So we act according to the situation, right? Because that is the acceptance that we had, that we have got, that's our mind. Okay, so the typical example is, the real-time example is, self-driven car. You take a car, self-driven car, it has to, if the road is straight, it thinks it has to travel straight. And if in the environment, if there is a small curve of which, like 20 degree, the car has to automatically curve 20 degree, and it also has to ensure there is no obstacle. If it's an obstacle, it should stop. So just because one time it has turned right, does it mean it has turned right every time? No. For that particular environment, it is able to make that decision. Okay, and that particular time. This is an example of reinforcement. Okay, I just want you to show a small video for reinforcement. Okay, I was just googling, and this video is from LinkedIn. Okay, it's not my own video. And a funny example of reinforcement. Okay, I just want to show to you. I hope I'm sharing my screen with you. Okay, please wait. I'll just show you an example of reinforcement. It's a funny example, but they gave it is an example of reinforcement, so that it will be more clear for you. Hope you can see my screen. Okay.
Can you see a YouTube video? Can you see my YouTube channel? Are you able to see it? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, okay. This is an example of reinforcement learning, okay? I'll just, you see how the hen is learning. It's very interesting. Okay. I'll just run it. Just see this. This is a typical example of reinforcement. What do you understand from that? Okay, what's the environment? I'll play this. Okay, now the environment is the table, right? Yeah, okay. I'll play it once again. I'll put a pass. Okay, this is an example of typical reinforcement learning. Here you see there's a head, right? And you know, for each right step, imagine that for each right step it takes, they're giving some reward for it, so that after a few iterations, after a few sequence, the hen is able to exactly learn from its reward. Have you seen that? See, when it see it always try to find the pink or pink color. Okay, yeah. This example. So what I want to say is here the hen is the agent. Okay, the hen is an agent. Okay, the environment is the table and the situation, and each step, each action it take correctly. They're feeding it. Maybe my target is the hen should it should go towards the pink color. Okay, so whenever it takes the right decision, they're feeding it, and us after a few iterations, it only search for its reward because it wants food. This is a small example of reinforcement learning. Okay, hope you understood. Okay, and this is a similar example like video games. Okay, let me talk like it. Okay, hope you have seen it YouTube channel. Okay, how many of you are clear with what you have learned so far? So far, what you have seen is you have seen what is machine learning, and we have seen its application, and you have also seen what are the types of algorithms in machine learning. So basically machine learning is making some algorithm, defining some algorithm to and making a machine learn with some algorithm to do some purpose. Okay, that's machine learning. And we saw what is machine learning. We saw few of its application. We also saw what are the types, right? What are the types of learning algorithms? How many of you clear with what I've taken so far? How many of you clear? Can I get a clear in the chat box? How many of you clear with what was discussed so far? Fine. Okay, at least I'm getting some responses. Thank you. Okay, now let's see how to implement this machine learning algorithm. My screen is shared. Okay, how to implement this, or what are the steps involved in implementing this machine learning algorithm? Okay, that's what we are going to see. Okay, what are the steps involved in implementing this machine learning algorithm? Okay, there are 5 different steps. Most of the algorithm, like for example, you are a student, you think I want to implement this machine learning in my subject or whatever it is. You have to follow these 5 different steps. Okay, one is data collection, data pre-processing, model fitting, model evaluation, and hyperparameter training. These are the 5 steps which you should follow okay, to implement a machine learning algorithm. Okay, so we'll see one by one. Okay, what is data? I'll finish it fast. Okay, so 7 o'clock, right? Okay, I'll try to finish it fast. Okay, so what is data collection? Okay, for example, your data can be an Excel data, your data can be an image data, your text file, or some access to something. Okay, whatever data. Okay, it could be Excel, image file, audio file, or what some text or whatever it is. This is your data. For example, let's take an example for customer segmentation. You want the customer, you want to segment customers based on some Excel data. In that case, your data is your Excel file. Okay. Then data pre-processing is very important step in machine learning. Okay, data pre-processing. Okay, if interested, if everything goes well, I'll probably take one more class. Okay, I'll be probably taking. I'll be talking about data pre-processing in the next class. Okay, so what is data pre-processing? For example, the accuracy of my model. Why is data pre-processing very important? It's because the accuracy of my model depends upon my data. For example, I'm going to teach to my machine with my own data. If my own data itself is wrong, or if most of my data is missing, the machine that I have developed can't be so accurate, right? Or I'm going to tell to my machine, do this, do that with my data available. And if my data is wrong, if my own data itself is wrong, I can't teach the machine saying that, I can't expect the machine to perform so good, 100% correct. Okay. So in that case, my data that I'm feeding to the machine should be so accurate and it should be formatted. That is why data pre-processing is very important. So what are the common errors? What are things that your data have? I mean, if you're going to have some thousands of data or thousands of data in your Excel sheet, there may be some fields that will be missing. Okay, there may be some important fields that is missing. You should avoid these missing data. Ensure that all the data that you're feeding to the machine are present, so that you can improve the accuracy. Okay. Next thing is, data pre-processing also include. There are 5 different things. Not only 2. I'm just sharing 2 things. Next one is splitting into 2 parts. Okay. We won't train all the data. For example, you have some. For example, let's take classification. Imagine you have 10,000 data. There is no need that you have to use all the 10,000 data for training. Use only 7,000 or 8,000, and remaining, if you're using 7,000, use remaining 3,000 for testing purpose. Okay, and with more data, so you can with the data amount of data you have, so major portion you keep it for testing. Some portion you keep it for test. Major portion you keep for training, and some portion you use for testing. And there are more things in data processing which we may discuss in the further webinars. Okay. Then there's model fitting. Once you are first you take your data and you ensure your data is correct. There is no data missing and data is correct, and then you are done with your data pre-processing. And the third one is model fitting. Now what you do, you take this and fit it to the machine. Okay. Now you take your algorithm and now you take your data and define it and give it as input to the algorithm, so that the algorithm learns. Then you do the model evaluation. Then you do the prediction. Okay. Then you can predict. Then if needed, you do the hyperparameter tuning. If you want to improve your performance, tune it in such a way, or you can do the running rate, tune it, or you can increase the amount of training data, tuning it in such a way that it performs well. Probably I've talked about that. We have discussed about this. We'll talk more maybe in the forthcoming webinars. Okay, if these things. Maybe let's see how it goes on. Next one is, for example, I hope there are hardly 40, 45 participants. If you are interested in machine learning, imagine that you want to perform some classification of your own, right? So you came to know you can use SVM classification. Now, do you think that you want to study SVM fully and you have to write, if there are 10 steps in SVM, you have to implement all the 10 steps and you have to make the algorithm learn? Definitely no. That is the smartness of technology today. You don't have to do that at all. Okay, simply use the library files. For example, if you want to use an SVM algorithm, just use scalar. Just use the library file. Okay, just use one library file scalar. you can and invoke the algorithm. You can just add the algorithm in 2 lines. Or if you want to use some k-means clustering, or if you want some decision tree algorithms, just use sklearn library file, invoke the algorithm in 2 lines. Okay, so easy that if you use a library file. Just long ago, like if you want to define some algorithm, you have to work and code, you can type the algorithm. Now things are so smart, things are so advanced. You just know the logic. Okay, you can smartly use the algorithm and learn. So let me discuss briefly what are some more prominent libraries available. One is TensorFlow. This TensorFlow and Keras are mainly associated with deep learning. Okay, so deep learning is a subset of machine learning, which subset of machine learning where it mainly focus on neural networks, and Matplotlib is a library again. If you want to plot something, okay, if you want to visualize something, you use it Matplotlib, and you have pandas. Like if you want to open your Excel, if your input data is in Excel, and if you want to open your Excel data, okay, for processing, you use pandas as library. Then NumPy, if you want to process if your data is an multi-dimensional array, is a matrix, you use NumPy. sklearn again. If you're planning for machine learning, if you're trying to practice machine learning, I definitely prefer you have to work on this sklearn. You just invoke this. You have to use sklearn. So most of the basic algorithms are available in sklearn. Then PyTorch. PyTorch is again a machine learning algorithm for if you want to go for NLP. If you want to process computer vision, natural language processing, you use PyTorch. And SciPy. SciPy is again a machine learning algorithm for optimization, linear algebra, and etc. So these are some algorithms. Okay, some library files, not algorithms, some library files which makes our life very, very easier. If at all you want to start, just enough, what is the purpose. You don't have to use all the library files. You have to use few library files, and you can understand or you can use it appropriately based on your application and interest. Okay. Then, for example, initially when I started learning long back, okay, I was really confused. For example, I have my Python with me, and imagine I want to implement this Python. Okay, how to start? Where to start? You may have so many questions. Okay, I had a question when I wanted to start learning machine learning, when I want to start implementing, I referred that, and there are so many resources available. I was so confused. Somebody said Python, somebody told Anaconda, somebody told Spider, somebody told Jupyter, somebody told Jupyter Notebook, somebody told ideally PyCharm. There are so many. Okay, don't confuse. These are some editors. Okay, you can use any of these things. You have to install Python. Okay, you have to install Python. Okay, now use any. If you install Anaconda, you'll get most of these packages. Okay, to open the Python, you have to use an editor. You can use and Spider, or you can use some editor, and you can open the algorithm. You can put algorithm. You can use any of this ID. Okay, integrated development environment. There's a friend and an editor, and you can do the coding. Okay, don't get confused. Now, you may say that I am from non-CSC background, or I don't have any knowledge in software, I don't install. There are so many smart ways today. You don't have to even install any software. You don't have to install something called Google Colab. Okay, you can simply, if you have a Gmail account, you can start implementing your Python. Okay, you don't even want anything. If at all you have your Gmail account, you can start working on your Python. Okay, I mean machine learning. So if you have a Gmail account, just you have to use. Okay, I'll tell you how. I'll send you a link. There you can learn how to implement this. How to go through this Google Colab without any installation. It directly runs from the cloud. It's so smart. Okay, I'm getting some chat. So it is. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So, so you can use Google Colab where you can easily, you don't have to install Python. You don't want any IDE. Just if you have a Google account, you can very easily install. If you have any doubt, you can ask me the right part. Okay. Now, what is this Google Colab? So Google Colab, just a few points of Google Colab. Like if you want to execute your Python code, if you want to create or upload or share your notebook, your code, if you want to publish in GitHub, if you want to use this, any of these library files, if you want to extract anything, you can use this Google Colab. Okay. So I have something more for you. So I think this is all my presentation. Okay. What I have intended to. So you can just ask me like if you have any doubts. So far what you have discussed is, okay, I'll just, for time being, I will pause my sharing. And if you want, if you're comfortable by, to be on video, you can come video or whatever. Okay, whatever it is. So like if you have any doubts, so what you have discussed so far is what is machine learning. Okay, what are the applications, where can you find these machine learning applications, and other thing that we discussed is what are the algorithms that or what are the types of algorithms, learnings that machine learning algorithm usually has, or can categorized. Then we saw what are the steps involved in if you want to implement a machine learning algorithm. Then we discussed what are the platforms, or you can try your machine learning algorithm, and we saw about the library. We saw about the library fields. So now, like it's some time for some discussion. You can please ask your questions. You can unmute yourself and you can ask, or you can put in chat. Sorry. From where can I learn machine learning, sir? Okay. Machine learning, to be frank, you have a lot of resources online. Okay. You can start. All you need is interest. You have so many resources online where we can learn machine learning. Okay, you can start learning online itself from the base. But if I am planning, okay, I myself planning, I'm myself planning to continue this webinar maybe in future. You can also follow by these things. But there are so many well-versed tutorials online that you can start learning. Okay, next question is Python enough for machine learning? Yes, Python is the base. Okay, in Python, you will install this library files. I told you SQL, you'll be installing these library files, and you will run your code. So Python is the base. If you ask me, Python is enough. Yes, Python is the base. In this Python, you will be installed using some command. You will be installed some library files, and you will be learning this. You can execute your machine learning algorithm. Yes, Python is enough. Any other questions? Any other questions anybody want to ask? Please free to ask. We'll discuss. What are the basic skills that we need to learn machine learning? Skills that, okay. I think you're asking what are the basic skills required. All I can say is your interest matters. Okay. And if you can understand, though if you don't know coding, if you can understand few things, if you can understand some coding, okay. If you can understand by saying what is this, if you have some preliminary knowledge of coding, you can learn. I think first is your interest. Second one is some preliminary, preliminary knowledge in some coding language. I'm not sticking to Python because if you can understand some basic coding language that you have come across before, you can understand easily. Else, there's nothing hard. You can start, you can start learning by yourself. Language, okay, if you see like few tutorials, if you can gain the coding language, then you can start learning. Okay. Any other questions? Any two questions? You can chat or you can ask doubts if you have. Any questions anybody want to ask? No doubts? Any doubts? Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. So I have something for you. Okay. I'll take a small. Okay. Oh, still, sir, still there are more tutorials. Can you suggest me some valuable tutorials available online? Okay. One suggest some tutorial. maybe I've gone across many. I'm not so particular about one tutorial. I think you can Google it and find out. Okay, or you can please ask me in person. Okay, come to me in person. You can later on you can discuss with me in person, and I can suggest you some materials and tutorials. Okay, you can suggest me. I can suggest you some material, but you can Google it. Okay, so now to talk about something more like yeah, I have talked to something about some more resources. Okay, and I have run a program for you, machine learning program for you. So before that, I'll take a small break, and if you're interested, I'll explain a small program for you. Okay, I'll explain a small machine learning program for you and show you. So meanwhile, we'll be very happy that if you can, give us a feedback. I'll just share our this thing. Okay? I'll just uh, share our page. Okay, share feedback link. So it will be a great help if you can give us a feedback. Okay, so okay, for 1 minute I will share the clip. Okay, sorry, I'm not able to share 1 minute. Sorry. Oh, stop shares. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so there's a feedback link where please give your feedbacks, and I just want to some more thing. If you can give a feedback in our social media, also I'll be happy. I'll just share our social media profiles. Okay, if you go to our social media profile, if you feel like you can uh, uh, give small feedback. Okay. Sorry. So, okay. So please give us a feedback. Okay. So I'll take a small break. Now I think just talk 2 minutes about our company. Okay. During this time, please give your feedback, and also there'll be a 2 minutes talk about my company. Okay. About this company, we'll give a small brief talk. Then I'll take you to a small code, how to run a code. Okay. How to run a machine learning code that we'll be discussing. I'll just execute and show you a program how to run machine learning codes. So meanwhile, I want I want Joshua to just share a few minutes about our company so that then I can start.
Yeah, a very good evening to everyone. Really thank all the participants for being here for a long time. So I'll share my screen, and we'll see a small intro about our company, Graceful Technologies. Uh, So actually, Graceful Technologies is all about software, and we have a lot of things going on, services going on. So currently, we have 6 employees, and we have clients around 3 countries: Egypt, Nigeria, and US. So our founder is your host today, Jeffin Gracewell, Dr. Jeffin Gracewell. This is and our visions for the future of our company is actually our main intention is to find simple solutions for complex problems, and we are also looking into creating more job opportunities in the coming years, and also we are trying to give the employees stress free and a very calm environment in our office. And also we are helping our employees by meeting every family needs they have, and also we extend our knowledge to different organizations, like conducting many workshops, and also we conduct workshops to college students as well. So basically our mission is actually to we have services like website designing, mobile apps, web apps, and also we are into products. So right now we have around 40 plus websites, and we are expecting more to design in the coming days. And also we have mobile apps, as well as we have designed around 5 mobile apps, both in Android as well as iOS platform. Or also, we have web apps. Currently, we are working on 3 web apps, and also we have 2 products. 2 products is totally different. It's actually combined of web app plus mobile apps. Uh, Here we have mobile apps for multiple products. So what are the basic services we provide from Gracewell Technologies to everyone is website designing. Basically, we work on WordPress, and for static web pages, we work on HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. Those are unique. We work on unique designs, and as well as we work on mobile apps. We work on the latest technology like Flutter Dart, as well as Android and iOS. We work it on Android as well as iOS platforms, and as well as we work on web apps. We construct them using Angular, and also we have good quality developers to finish a full product actually. And our fourth important thing is digital marketing. So nowadays digital marketing is very important to you. If you have a website, definitely you are focusing on traffics, and also also your brand. You want to focus on your brand, marketing on your brand. So digital marketing helps you a lot on showing your brand on the market. And also SEO. SEO is a very important thing, search engine optimization for your web pages. We are working that on that also. So this basically helps you for ranking your pages upon any search engines. So for example, if you have any websites, if you want to rank it on the first page, you have to work on your SEO on the pages of for SEO. So that will be very helpful for you. As well as we work on e-commerce. So e-commerce is basically for online shopping platforms. We work them on mobile apps uh, as well as on website designing. Uh, so this is pretty much 6 services on our company, and really thank you for this wonderful time. I'm giving the rest of the session to our host Jeff and Grace. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your comments. Okay, thank you so much for your comments. So I think I'll be very happy if I get comments in social media also. Like, I've sent you the link. There you could see about today's webinar. Please share your experience in the social media also. Okay, just just for our for some this thing will be get helpful for us if you can share your comments, like how do you feel about this webinar in social media like Facebook and LinkedIn. We have sent you the link. There, if you see in the first year, you can feel about this post, and please it will be helpful if you can share. Okay, please do it when you have time. Okay, then, like, as I told you, I'll share my screen with you. Share my screen with you. Okay, share, and yeah. Presentation. Fine. Okay. Now I should okay, please share me. Okay. Yeah. If you want to take a few minutes. Okay. I'll wait. Okay. If you please, if you like, you want to share in social media, please give us some comments. How do you feel about this webinar, like the Facebook and LinkedIn post if you're interested. I'll wait for a minute also. Mind up first. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll start. okay, other things like, for example, if somebody asked me like, you know, you want to learn more about machine learning, and there are some online resources. Other than that, okay, what are things that we can do? What are resources? I want to suggest a few things. One is Kaggle.com. Okay, Kaggle.com. It's a very huge. If you're interested in learning machine learning, kindly go to Kaggle.com, where you register yourself, where you get large amount of data sets, where you get large amount of code, large amount of if you want to contribute to some code, to some task, you can do it. And by the way, you can learn. Then you have something called Quintel, where if you are working on your machine learning algorithms and you want the machine learning data, you can work on it. Then for deployment, for example, you have different algorithm, you want to deploy it online. Okay, you have like, you know, you can Google it, you can go for deployment. Okay, and as I told you, there are plenty of opportunities in machine learning today. Okay, the opportunities are plenty, and you can become a machine learning engineer very easily. Very easily, provided you have your interest, and you can you know, and there's a huge demand for machine learning. Let me run a small code for you and show you how machine learning is. Okay, what machine learning is, so that you understand. Okay, okay, I'll just run the code. So, what are the 5 steps I told you? Machine, you have to implement a machine learning algorithm. What are the 5 steps that we saw? What are the 5 steps that we saw? The first one is data collection, right? The first one is data collection. Then one is pre-processing your data. The third step that we saw is, okay, the third step that we saw is, training your model. Then is prediction, right? The fourth one is fine tuning. The first step is data collection. So, sorry. Yeah, okay. So in order to collect your data, first thing that we need to do is need to import the library files. As I told you, okay, the most important things that makes our life easier is, the first thing you have to import the library files. What are library files? I'm using Pandas, okay, and I'm using NumPy as my library file. Then I have my data set in the website. Okay, this is my link, and I have already downloaded the data set. Okay, I'll just show you the data set to you. Okay, so this is some data set where the small data set, just for learning purpose, where the experience is given, and here is the salary. Okay, the experience is, this is the experience, and this is the salary. Okay, this experience is salary. So this is my data. Like, you know, if this is my years of experience, what will be my salary in that company? Okay, let me take a small data here, Excel data. Okay, so I'm importing the data directly from the URL. Okay, so this is called, actually, first step is data collection. I'm collecting the data, okay, from the as a PDF file from the internet, okay, from the URL. Second step is data pre-processing. Okay, data pre-processing can be like, you know, I told you that there are several different steps. In your data, you should know what is the input and what's output. Okay, in my case, I have only 2 things. Okay, one is years of experience and one is salary. Now my salary is an independent variable, and sorry, years of experience is an independent variable, and salary is a dependent variable. Okay, I call it dependent variable because salary, indirectly I can say salary is output. I want to predict my salary based on years of my experience. So my salary depends upon the years of experience. So that's why I say my salary or output, that is my independent variable, and my years of experience is a dependent variable. Okay, years of experience is a dependent variable. So I need to separate the years of experience and salary separately. For this, I use, you know, I've taken X. Okay, I'll be explaining more probably in our next these things. So this is my second step, where I'm pre-processing my data. I am separating my input separately and output separately, and also, okay, I'm just running this code. I'm just running this code for you. In my X, okay, in my data, it means that in my semicolon means that it take all the rows and take all the columns minus the last column. Okay, Okay, I'm not here to explain right now, but probably in my next webinar, I'll be giving a brief about data, this thing. Okay, I've executed this. Okay, now I can use this print command. Okay, so if you want to see what is there in X, just give print X. Okay, this is a serial number. Okay, print X gives me years of experience. 1 minute. Just so X gives my input days of experience. Now what is Y? Y is my salary. Okay, this is the serial number. Y is my salary. Okay, so these are my input. I have taken my input and outputs. I have pre-processed my data, and now I should define what is an amount of data I should use for training. Okay, here I am mentioning that maybe imagine that I have like 20 data. So here I'm mentioning that again for this I use the library called scalar and test train split. Out of all the data available, I'm saying to the machine that use 90% of data for training and 20% of the remaining test 10% data for testing. So among all the data, it will automatically take 90% of data have given like train size 0.9. I can change it like 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, whatever it is. So the more I give, the better the accuracy. Okay, and there is the possibility of overfitting. So these things are technical terms which we'll maybe discuss later. So now I'm running this. Okay, here what happened? My data is getting split into extract. Okay, extract. Okay, extract. Okay, this is this because I'm going to take it now. Now what has happened is my data is split into two: train and test. 90% of data are used for training and 10% of data used for testing. Now it's very simple. Imagine that I need to perform linear regression. Okay, I need to perform linear regression. You don't have to think that you have to define the algorithm. You have to learn what is linear regression. If you simply know that linear regression is used for prediction, that's enough. What you do here, you just invoke this linear regression. Okay, now what you do is you just again use a library for scalar and invoke this algorithm. And what you do is you just start this. Okay, you just invoke this. This is called object. Okay, you just call this object. Okay, in that algorithm, and just give your extend and just give a data. Just give a data and your model is trained. Within 3 steps, your model is trained. And now, for example, if you want to predict, for example, let me take the Excel sheet before I can show you the predicting prediction. Oh, sorry, can I close the Excel? Okay, let's check. Okay, for in the Excel case, see for 9 years of experience, the salary is around 10,000. Okay, yeah, 1,05,000 something, right? Let's see what is the salary is predicting for 9 years. Okay, let's give a salary here. Direct mention 1,05,000 something. It's predicted to be 1,10,000. Okay. Now similarly, like if you want to predict for 2 years, for example, let's say 2 years. Okay. For 2 years, it says the salary is 45,000. Okay. Here it says 43,000. Okay, 43,000 something. So like these are for example, now if you want to predict, so now our user comes and he's of 20 years experience. Okay, and you assume he's 20 years of experience. Okay, and now you can predict things very easily. If he's experienced that coming for 20 years, he's expected to get a salary of around 2 lakhs. Okay, this is a small example of implementing this machine learning algorithm. So probably in days to come, if you're interested, okay, if you're interested, you can join this WhatsApp group. So we'll be discussing more about it. Maybe I'll give regular update. Okay, only for people who given feedback. Okay, I'll just update you. If you're interested, like we'll take it forward in further classes, like data pre-processing. Maybe 2 weeks once or something. We'll connect and we will learn something. Okay, I'll just train you in the subsequent webinars about the further basics of machine learning. Okay, so thank you so much. I think if you want to discuss anything, if you have any doubts, you can ask, or we'll wind up. Last, I'll ask one more time. So